The Karenai vanguard had spent 80,000 years building the most patient intelligence apparatus their civilization had ever produced, a single purpose: listen to Earth, and never let it know it was being listened to. They had catalogued the silence in exhaustive detail. The dead radio chatter, the dark cities, the cooling reactors after whatever extinction event had ended humanity's brief noisy century. Generation after generation of Karenai analysts inherited the project the way other species inherited heirlooms: watch the quiet grave, note any change, report to no one because there is never anything to report. Analyst Adjutant Mireth Pol had inherited the watch from her mother, who'd inherited it from hers. She'd grown up believing Earth was the calmest entry in the entire observation archive, 80,000 years of identical readings, a world so thoroughly finished that the watch had become ceremonial, a rite of patience rather than a real surveillance task. Then, on a watch shift that began like every other watch shift in living Karenai memory, the silence answered back. It didn't arrive as a weapon or a fleet. It arrived as a single tight beam transmission, aimed with impossible precision at the exact relay buoy the Karenai had hidden at the edge of the system 80,000 years ago, a relay they were certain no one on the planet below had ever detected. "We found your listening post around year 4000, the message said, in a dialect of old Karenai administrative code that shouldn't have existed anywhere outside their own archives. "We left it running. Figured you'd want something to report eventually. You're welcome." Mireth's hands went cold on the console. That's our cipher. Pre-collapse Karenai cipher. How does Earth have our pre-collapse cipher? The answer came 30 seconds later, in the same transmission, almost as an afterthought: you left a survey team's black box in low orbit in your first pass. We've had 80,000 years and nothing else to do with our quiet decades but take things apart and understand them. Turns out boredom is a hell of a research grant. The watch protocol had a procedure for everything except this. There was no clause in 80,000 years of doctrine for the silent grave, just quoted our own dead language back at us, with footnotes. Mireth requested a status update from the orbital archive, the one resource that should have been completely passive, completely unwatched, utterly Karenai. It returned a polite system message instead of raw telemetry: archive access logged. "Hello, Mireth. Your mother used to run this watch. We left her a note once, too, but she never checked the second frequency. You did. Want to talk?" She sat in the observation chamber for a long time after that, the silence of 80,000 years collapsing into something far louder than any fleet could have managed, the simple, unbearable fact that they had been catalogued right back. When the formal reply came from her command authority, it carried none of the bored procedural language 80 millennia of watchkeeping had trained her to expect. It carried one line, hand-entered by an officer 3 ranks above her pay grade, who had clearly never had to type anything personally before. Authorization requested to make contact. Recommend extreme caution. They have been listening to us listen to them the entire time. Mireth didn't need 80,000 years of inherited patience to know what that meant. The grave hadn't been quiet. It had been waiting to see who'd blink first. It hadn't been them.